So that's one issue. But you know, in Egypt, I know you have similar situations because you haven't had a military government so often for so long, or some version of it. So it's hard to talk to you with any sense of what you can do in Egypt. So much money is coming to you from the United States in military aid. It's disgusting. It's truly disgusting. And I don't know where all the money goes. I don't know the history and I don't know the specifics. But this is a problem all over the world, not just in Egypt and America, all over the world. I don't know why I went off on that. You asked my roots. Okay. My roots was I went to war. Actually, I was in war in Vietnam, and I came back and I was raised conservative. My father was a Republican, Eisenhower. He was not a madman like they are now. He was a very smart, educated man, went to Yale and economics and Wall Street. That's the reason I did Wall Street. My dad...
30th anniversary of, I believe.
Yes, 30th anniversary.
Foreshadowed a lot of events.
It's a movie that was actually, it was wonderful to make it, and you know what, it went into the Zeitgeist, but at the time it was painful because after the heights of Platoon and Salvador, to suddenly be so criticized for making a film which was, by their standards, too much a studio film, and with but I made the film with pride, and I always liked it. I knew people liked it, and that was the key. People would come up to me years later and say, you know, I was a young kid, I was studying architecture, or I was studying civil engineering at blah blah, and I saw this movie, and then I wanted to go to Wall Street. So, and a lot of them went to Wall Street. So, you know, whether that's good or bad, they all emphasize that they're trying to do it honestly. They all believe that they're trying to do it honestly. You know, but that's the problem. That was the Charlie Sheen problem. Greed is very subtle, and greed can make you corrupt without recognition, without you recognizing it. I was at NY Film School after Vietnam on the GI Bill, and I made short films, 16 millimeters. I made three of them, very ambitious. Well, we made smaller films. Marty Scorsese was one of my teachers, one of the best, energetic, making 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, show it in front of the class, and it was rough. It was like a Chinese Cultural Revolution perspective, in the sense that everybody was tearing down the system, and these films they were being criticized openly, and that was the way we did things. So when we had a new project and we wanted money we needed money from the school to get approval, we'd have to go to the class. We would talk to 20 people, 30 people, and you'd argue your idea, and why are you making that? You know, that's a bourgeois idea, or, you know, you can't, you know, all kinds of reactions to the subject matter. It was very painful. And then when you finished your film, you showed it, and my God, oh, it would be savage. But in a sense, you learn from the give and the take, I have to say. And I ended up making one that was very respected, called Last Year in Vietnam, based on personal feelings. The other two were very abstract, 20-minute short films, 25 minutes, done in a Godard, Buñuel homage fashion. In other words, I was imitating those people because at that time, European filmmaking seemed to be the one that was in the lead. American films I liked, but we never considered that in the same way as Ingmar Bergman or Mr. Buñuel or Fellini. So after film school, it was very hard. Couldn't get a job. 6, 7 years. I wrote screenplays. It was the one thing I did at NYU that was different than most of the young people there who were studying making films. There was this belief at that time that you could go ahead and make a film out of thin air. You didn't really need to have a script. Godard had a lot to do with that, as the French did. But I was always fascinated in writing. I had written much since I had been about 15, 16. I had started to write. This is a long story, but I wrote a book, which became a book in 1997, and it was called The Child's Night Dream. It was published by St. Lawrence Press. So I had really got into this heavy period of writing in 1966 before, and I knew that I had something to express. I just felt like there was a lot inside me that had to come out, because I My parents had been divorced. I was an only child. There was no outlets. And the sense of family had evaporated with the divorce. You have to understand that, you know, I was sent to boarding school, and then I went right into basically the school system at Yale, and then the military, then merchant marine, and military. I was a teacher in Vietnam. A lot of little things, a lot of different jobs. And then I ended up a taxi driver in New York on the night shift after NYU, among other jobs, temp jobs, messenger jobs, a sports film company. It was struggle, and I almost gave up. I was reaching 30 years old, and I didn't think I'd ever make it, because I had a couple of breaks. One script almost got made. Robert Bolt was involved. He's a wonderful man, a screenwriter. And he pushed it, but we couldn't get it made. So, you know, it looked like it was over. And I said, okay, I made a deal. I said I'd go to 30, and then I quit.